Good morning everybody, it's Roseanne Ludik, your National Nursing Manager from Curo Health, and today I want to show you how to use the Accu device. The Accu device is used at this point in time to do our cholesterol checks for our vitalities and rapid tests, and it's a lovely device to use except that it has one or two little tricks, and it's the tricks that I want to show you today. In camera we have young Master James's hands that I'm going to be using for fingers. Thank you, James. So let me take you through the machine. If you look at it now, it has nothing on the screen. If I switch it on, it gives me all the numbers and buttons, and then it gives me a number 26. And it's telling me here next to the side, this little strip that's flashing is telling me that I can insert the strip. Now, if I look at my Accu strips that I have here, their code is 26. So if I use these strips on this device now, it will give us an accurate reading. I'm going to switch this off first so that it doesn't bomb out while I'm busy with the rest of the work, just so that you know that. Now, when you are preparing your fingers, make sure that your client has nice warm hands. When you look at the hands, there's nice pink fingertips, and that you can see that the blood flow is nice. What we like doing too is using the left hand, especially in men, because the skin on the hands, especially your hardworking guys out there and your constructions and farmers, is rather hard on the fingers, and then the left hand or the non-dominant hand skin is less hard, so you can get a nice deeper stick through the skin to get a proper blood drop. What I normally suggest to you guys is try not to use the main fingers, that when you work you land up touching those fingers, so your client is less likely to swear at you in 10 minutes time when he or she works with something and touches where you've done this finger prick. If you try to use your ring finger and your pinky fingers, those are your best ones. The skin there again is normally a bit softer. And when you look at your fingers, I normally suggest, this is a pencil so it's not going to show, but if you divide your finger into 4 down the middle like that, try to use your outer side or the side of the finger that's closest to your little finger, because then again you're less likely to touch on it later when you work with it, and the skin is a bit softer there again. So, James, are you left or right-handed? Right-handed. So I've got James's left hand here. His fingers are nice and warm. His blood is nicely in the fingertips. I can see that, and when I press lightly and gently, they say you shouldn't milk. Now, when you milk a finger, and I'm going to do it on another finger, is doing that, pulling it. But if you give light press motions like that towards the fingertip, you will get the blood flowing nicer and collecting nicely into the fingertip, so that you get a nice full drop of blood when you do your finger prick. So I'm going to use James's pinky here now. If I look at that, it's giving me a nice pink, red-pink tip there, so that one will work nicely. So in preparation, I'm going to take out my strip, make sure it's the correct one, that it says at the bottom cholesterol. I'm going to, for now, just put it down on my device. I'm going to take out my alcohol swab. I'm going to clean my finger and allow it to dry naturally. Please don't blow on it or wave your hand over it. Allow it to dry naturally. Then I have my lancet and little cotton wool swabs to stop the bleeding afterwards. Okay, once you've got your finger cleaned and you're leaving it to dry, take your device now and press the power button just lightly to put it on, just once. Then it will tell you, I'm ready for code number 26's strip. When you put your little stick in, at the front there's a little hole, and I normally say for a half a second put that little hole into the receiving hole of your machine, just for a half a second. So when I do it, I say 1 and then a solid push. It must give you a tee-tee sound. Once it's given you the tee-tee sound, you'll see up at the top of your screen over there, you've got a picture of the device and a little arrow that's saying you can lift my lid now, I'm ready to receive the blood sample. So lift your lid, put it down. Now you can give your finger a prick to get the blood sample that you need. Open your device. I have cleaned James's finger. It's nice and naturally dry now. So on the outer side of his pinky, I'm going to give him a nice deep puncture so that I get a proper one while I'm keeping the blood nicely in the tip of the pinky. Sorry, James. All right, a nice hard one. Now I've got a nice blood sample coming out there. And you can put it, I prefer putting it straight in. Some like taking the strip out, putting it on. Let the drop naturally onto your device. Give your client something to stop the blood. And now close your lid. The minute you close your lid, it starts counting down from 180. You must leave it to finish counting. Once it's finished counting through, it will give you the result. So now we'll just leave it for a few minutes so that it can count its way down. In the meantime, I can just check. Some clients are inclined to bleed. So James looks like he's stopping here nicely. Just apply pressure for me there. Thanks, James, and then we'll get it sorted for you now. In the meantime, please make sure that all your little cotton wool swabs and pieces of alcohol swabs are thrown away. Don't leave them in the client's dustbin or so. Otherwise, they get upset. Now, if you watch this, you'll see that it's counting down. It's important that you guys know how to use this device nicely, especially in the winter times. And while it's counting down, I'm just going to give you some tricks for fingers during the winter time. When we do the vitality tests in the early morning hours as well as some of the gyms and so on, the little device doesn't want to work nicely because it's ice cold. So what we normally suggest is put it somewhere where it's warm for a bit. In a blanket or under the client's arm, or not under the client's arm, under your own arm so that it warms up a bit. Please not in the microwave because that might cause trouble. But if you just warm the device up, the mechanisms in it, the metal in it, makes it will give you an error code on it if it's so very, very quiet. To get nice blood flowing in your fingers as well, if you want to ask your clients to shake their hands so that the blood flows, rub their hands nicely so that you've got a nice blood flow to the tip of the finger, because you want a drop of blood to come out as naturally and as free dropping as possible. The more you milk and irritate the finger to get that blood drop, the more serum you're going to be getting in your drop of blood, and that might affect the result of your blood result or of your cholesterol result. Now, cholesterol we normally want to be under around about 4.5. It is a random screening cholesterol. So if your clients say to you, I had blood drawn last week, my doctor did my cholesterol last week, and my cholesterol was something else, it is very possible. But these are random screening devices, and it's of a total cholesterol, not your LDLs and your HDLs and your triglycerides. So just keep that in mind when your clients do say to you, is that high, is that low? Please don't go into big consultations again. I always say, please, the minute there's medical questions, rather say to your client, ma'am or sir, I don't know your medical background. You're welcome to take this result that I'm going to give you from the screening result and go to your doctor and discuss it with them. If they feel that they'd like to draw a blood for laboratory purposes, that would give you a more accurate. Now you'll see. Right, there you go. There's James's cholesterol level. And James, well, I've seen it now on camera. Your cholesterol level is 4.1. 4.01. So that is what you would write on your forms and paperwork, is the cholesterol level of 4.1. Now all you do is you open this device again and pull your strip out. Please note that you cannot pull this little strip out while the machine is still closed. You will break it. You must open the lid and remove the device, the strip like that. Then again, throw it in your sharps, close it, and then you can press it fairly long and hard to switch your machine off. James, has that finger stopped bleeding? Okay, check that it stopped bleeding nicely. It's still bleeding a little bit, so a bit more pressure. For some reason, James is bleeding a bit too much. So just watch that again when the client is finished and the bleeding has stopped. Take that little cotton wool ball that you've given your client and put it in your sharps container. Please don't leave it for the client to throw away into their dustbin. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. The video's password is James. Thank you.